Hey guys, Damn Good Sports Talk back. Gonna start my first official video now. So again, if you guys can subscribe, like the video, and do everything you can to support this channel, that'd be awesome. I'm gonna keep putting out videos as often as I can. Probably about one every 1 to 2 days, giving you some takes. Right now we're in football season, obviously, and probably the end of this week I'll give you some Super Bowl predictions around Friday, Saturday time frame. But for now, let's go ahead and start this out. I just want to say, it is kind of hard to start a YouTube channel nowadays. I know there's a bunch of big ones out there, and I know I don't have the greatest of quality videos or anything right now. But hopefully eventually I can get to the point where, I can get better quality videos out for you guys, and maybe some microphones and some other nice equipment to keep this channel high quality and entertaining for you guys. And at the end of the day, I'm doing this for me, myself, just to kind of I've always had the dream of and passion for sports and talking about it with people, and I feel like I've always had a good mind with sports, especially football. I know some of you probably will debate me on basketball, but I feel very confident in my ability to talk about pretty much any sport out there. So if you guys have any questions or comments on the way I talk about sports or what I'm saying, definitely let me know in the comment section. I did start a Facebook page, same exact name as my YouTube, Damn Good Sports Talk, so DG Sports Talk on Facebook. If you could look that up, that'd be awesome. So without further ado, let's talk. So first topic for the day, I want to talk about our Senior Bowl risers from last week in the 2022 Reese's Senior Bowl. I know I say Reese's, some people say Reese's. It's Reese's, come on. But anyway, so we'll start with my first riser. I got pass rusher Jermaine Johnson, defensive end, edge pass rusher out of Florida State. He's about 6'5", about 260. Had some nice long arms. I think it was around 83-inch wingspan with about 34-inch arms, which is really nice to have for a pass rusher. He flashed a lot of ability. I think kind of shocked some people. Maybe not shocked, but I think a lot of people definitely thought he'd go in the top 3 rounds of the draft. I don't think there's any discussion about that, but he kind of has moved himself into that discussion for that second edge rush, or the third edge rush really, behind David Ajabo and along with those guys, him and Boye Maef, who I'll talk about in a second. But he showed a lot of explosive ability, definitely a lot of hip flexibility that I think people didn't see coming. But when you watch his tape, you definitely see a guy who has the ability to be a elite pass rusher at the next level. Great size, uses his hands really well, and you can tell he just has an overall great feel for the game, and that's really what you want to see out of a young guy coming into the league. So yeah, that's my first guy, Jermaine Johnson, pass rusher out of Florida State. Keep an eye out for him. He'll probably end up going in the first round in this draft coming up in a couple months. The second guy, I mentioned him earlier, defensive end, pass rusher Boye Maef, a pass rusher out of University of Minnesota. Again, another one of those guys, fringe guys, maybe not even a second round pick. You're thinking maybe third, fourth round pick in that area. But now has moved up a lot of boards. You could see him in the early second round, bottom of the first. Again, in that discussion with Jermaine Johnson and David Ajabo and those types. And I don't want to forget about Arnold Ebiketie as well, defensive end out of Penn State. But keep an eye out for Boye Maef as well. When you watch his film, it's Boye Mafe. He's a great pass rusher. You watch his film and you'll definitely see how was this guy not on people's radar. The way that the way that he played at Senior Bowl, it was definitely good for him. So that's obviously why he's on this riser list. Another guy I think wasn't much of a riser so much as people were, okay, tape matches what this guy's ability is, and that's defensive tackle Travis Jones out of UConn. What a man. That guy is a giant dude, powerful guy on the inside. Even against the top interior linemen at the Senior Bowl, you see him pushing them all the way back like they haven't even, they had nothing for him. So Travis Jones, man, he could be a serious player. And he's got good footwork for pass rush ability too, which is great to see in today's league. You need if you can have every down, 3-down defensive tackle out there, I mean, you're going to take that every time, especially a one technique or a nose. So Travis Jones out of UConn, keep an eye out for him. He'll probably end up in that bottom of the first round, most likely in that second round range for me. But I have him definitely, he's first round worthy is pretty much what I'm saying. Another defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. A lot of you guys might have seen him on, Fox Sports and playing in these big games against Texas and Texas Tech and whatnot. That's going to be defensive tackle Perrion Winfrey out of Oklahoma. And, man, does that guy love football. You can just see it with everything, every single snap that he played in the Senior Bowl this week. He was the most passionate out there, the most energetic guy on the field. And you really love to see that. And I'm sure the coaching staff for the Senior Bowl definitely made them take a second look at that guy's tape, because he plays hard and he plays fast, and his hands are great, and he's going to come at you 110% full speed every time, every play. And that is going to definitely win some teams over, and you'll probably see him in that second round area now. As before he probably was in that late second, mid third area. You'll see him most definitely on day 2, if not maybe even a team grabs him at the bottom of round 1. So keep an eye out for him. A couple of interior linemen I wanted to bring up. Maybe not so much risers, so much as that's that guy. And that's going to be start off with interior offensive lineman. I say interior offensive lineman because he flashed some spots at center this past week, and that's Zion Johnson, who mostly played guard at Boston College. Now, he was listed a little shorter compared to some of the other guys on the offensive line, but he has some long arms and some very beefy arms out there, I'll tell you. You can see he's very strong, great footwork, and you saw, he was staying after practice to work on taking snaps to play some center out there for the scouts and the coaching staff. I can't remember if it was for the Lions or if it was for the Jets coaching staff, but wow, yeah, that guy. I mean, if there was one dude who was standing up a little bit to Travis Jones, it was him, and also to Perrion Winfrey. It was him and this other guy I'm about to talk about out of University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and that is Cole Strange, the guard/center out of Tennessee, Chattanooga. 6'4", about 300 pounds. He about 80-inch arms, somewhere in there, if I remember correctly, 81-inch arms, which isn't like crazy long, which is fine. I'm sorry, that wingspan was 81 inches. If he had 81-inch arms, probably be the best offensive lineman in the league. But 81-inch wingspan, think about 33-inch arms, 34-inch arms, somewhere in that area. But he has the fastest hands probably in this at least senior offensive line class. I mean, as soon as he was snapping the ball or as soon as he was getting off the ball, his hands were in the chest of the defensive lineman, and you love to see that as a young player coming in the draft. And that's going to shoot him up some draft boards. He'll probably be in that Quinn Miners range of the third round now instead of in that 4th, 5th round range, just because of the school he went to. Wasn't very huge, but I know a lot of us know about Tennessee Chattanooga, and I believe Terrell Owens went there as well. So a lot of us know about Tennessee Chattanooga and their ability to develop some nice NFL talent for us to watch on Sundays. And one last guy for the risers is going to be defensive back, safety, nickel corner, Jalen Petty out of Baylor. And that guy seemed like he was the most talented defensive back on the field for either team when I was watching practices. Obviously wasn't there, don't have the money for all that, but nor the time right now, but I'd love to eventually get to that point, but maybe as like a leisure or maybe even as a job one day. But Jalen Petty, man, he flashed some skill out there. He kind of gives you the vibe of like a Tyrann Mathieu type, right? Just can play down in the box, can do pretty much anything you want him to do, and he's going to be around the ball. He's going to be around the ball no matter where the ball's going. He can be on one side of the field and get to the other side of the field in an instant, just to be a part of the play. And that is that is definitely a skill set that's hard to teach. Obviously, it's all athleticism. Now he did come in a little bit shorter than most expected. He was listed at 6'1", I believe, 6 foot before the draft, before the Senior Bowl process of the draft, and he came in about 5'10", which is not going to help him in that regard as far as size goes. But we saw a lot of undersized safeties go on this past year's draft with what's his name? I believe it's the UCF safety from last year. Gosh, they had so many defensive backs. They had Tay Gowan. They had who was the other guy? I can't remember right now, but you guys know what I'm saying. But you can see that guy has talent. He'll be able to overcome pretty much anything with his size, and he has an overall great feel for the game and playing defensive back, whether it's nickel corner or playing him at the strong safety or free safety. You're going to be fine with him no matter what. But yeah, those are my risers for the Senior Bowl this past week. As far as fallers or kind of guys that didn't do quite as well as we expected or hoped. The first guy is Sam Howell. Kind of started off with his measurements. He measured at 6 foot, which isn't awful. I think he was listed at 6'1", so it's not a huge drop. But he did have those 9 1/8 inch hands, which now it's not bad to have above 9 inch hands at least. But he didn't look great on the field. Anytime I was actually tuning into the quarterback sessions. Obviously not a professional. I don't want to put out that I'm some professional scout. I do feel like I have a good eye for football as I've watched it since I was, in elementary school for my whole life. And me and my dad watched scouting combines and pro days for pretty much then on out the rest of my life. He came in a little short, had the smaller hands on the smaller spectrum at least, and didn't really flash a whole lot as far as his ability to run an offense on game day or anything like that. But man, I want to give a quick honorable mention to Malik Willis. The command he showed out there on the practice field during the game, it was probably the best out of all the quarterbacks, in my opinion. And he has athleticism that's not going to be matched by any of these quarterbacks in this draft class. So I honestly wonder if a lot of teams are seeing him as QB1 now instead of Kenny Pickett or as Sam Howell. So shout out to Malik Willis out of Liberty University. A lot of undersized quarterbacks in this class, like I said, with Sam Howell at 6 foot. Another quarterback I want to talk about that came in at 6 foot would be Bailey Zappy out of Western Kentucky, who broke the NCAA record, FBS record this year, Division I, for touchdown passes with 62 touchdown passes this year to, I believe, only 10 interceptions, which is amazing, right? The touchdown interception ratio. His issue, I think, you really wanted to see him come out, and you wanted to see him prove, all right, yeah, see, I can compete with this level of talent, and my arm talent can go against anybody. You didn't quite see that. You didn't see that on the field on Saturday, as he had the most time on the field as a quarterback, as far as at least it felt that way. But you didn't see that arm talent flash the way that I was kind of hoping to match up with the numbers against that higher level of competition. And that kind of worries me a little bit about Bailey Zappy. But, we'll see about the scouting combine, his pro day, and see how everything else goes. So he has plenty of time to make that up on the back end. His tape definitely speaks, a lot to me at least. And I even watched his bowl game, and I thought he looked great too. So those are my two quarterbacks that fell. A couple offensive linemen for you. Offensive tackle Daniel Fa'alele out of Minnesota. You see that guy, and you would think he's probably the best he should be the best offensive lineman in the draft, right? He's on that 6'8", 6'9" range. He weighed in, I think, at 386, 387 pounds. I think it was 387. And super long arms, of course, of being 6'8", 6'9", crazy long arms, crazy long wingspan. I think it was 87-inch wingspan, which is amazing. But, you expected to see him to assert himself on the physical side and just purely dominate, at least with his size. And you see his tape, and he has good feet. He's a great run blocker. But I was kind of hoping to see a little bit better and a kind of an improvement on the pass protection side of things. And I didn't quite see that. As a former offensive lineman myself, obviously not a great offensive lineman or anything like that, but kind of understand the techniques of the position and everything. He seemed very off balance, especially in the one-on-one drills. He got beat a couple times, beat a lot of times actually. He was probably the most beat offensive lineman besides like Dylan Parham and I think it was Joseph Tyre. I can't remember his name, but I'm sure that all these guys are gonna prove themselves to be worthy of and noteworthy of some discussion eventually, maybe with their pro days or scouting combine. But anyway, definitely Daniel Fa'alele, he kind of Fa'alele, sorry. He seemed off balance on a lot of the pass pro techniques he was doing. He kind of seemed rushed when he was trying to kind of get a hold of the guy in front of him, instead of just kind of sitting back and letting things come to him. It seemed like he wanted to prove that he was that guy, and that happens a lot to offensive linemen. You're so hyped up, and you see it's that one-on-one, and all the eyes on you, and you want to make sure that people know, hey, I am that guy. And I think that you kind of saw that a little bit with him, which is fine. I think he will be fine just because of his overall size and dominance when you see him on the field. Another tackle that isn't so much of a fall, not as much of a fall as Daniel Fa'alele, and I think some people might disagree with me, and that is okay, was Bernard Ryman, not sure how to say it, out of Central Michigan tackle. 6'6", about 300 pounds, good length, not amazing length, but very good length for his height and everything. I wanted to see more of a not nasty side like Trevor Penning had, and I didn't want to bring him up because I think he's pretty much wasn't really a riser so much as he's going to fall about where most people picked in that 20 range in the first round. But I think Bernard Ryman to me might have fell out of the first round due to the Senior Bowl, but again, still plenty of time to bring himself back to that level of the first round pick. Maybe even a top 15 pick in the first round. But I wanted to see more of a, similar to Daniel Fa'alele, you see him on tape and you definitely see this guy he has special talent, right? Started out as a tight end at Central Michigan. I believe he was from Austria. Hasn't played football a whole lot. So he's got bright upside, very, very large upside, bright upside. So I'm definitely excited to see, what team he goes to. I think a team that can, that has a very good offensive line coach to get the best out of him and some good veterans around him, obviously. You'll see the best out of him eventually, but he was kind of a little bit of a drop to me. I was just kind of hoping for that nasty side a little bit more. Not quite to the Penning level, like I said. Just a little bit more oomph, out of Ryman, and he's still going to be a really good player in this league. And I'm not worried about him at all. I just wanted to see a little something extra from him to maybe even warrant him being a top 10 pick, and maybe it was the expectations for me for him. So I'm not trying to say that teams are going to drop because I'm saying this, but he has plenty of time to kind of improve himself in my mind. But Bernard Ryman was my last guy for the guys who fell down a little bit for me from this week in the Senior Bowl. A little bit about the new coaching hires, in case you guys haven't seen. So, the Vikings, they're going to be hiring the offensive coordinator for the Rams, Kevin O'Connell, after the Super Bowl. I was actually watching some of the worldwide leader out there, seeing Justin Jefferson. This is Justin Jefferson's first time ever having an offensive-minded head coach. So that could be a good thing. I think a lot of the Vikings' problems are not completely offensive related. I think Kirk Cousins had an okay year, even though a lot of us, go really hard at him just because of his contract and the value level, right? But he was second in touchdown interception ratio, which is something I didn't know until watching him a little bit more tape on him from this past season. But Kirk Cousins, I think the Vikings are in a good spot. I think they have a solid chance to, pick up some key free agents, maybe extend Kirk Cousins' contract so you can push a little bit more of that money off so you're not paying him $45 million next season. Another coach, Lovie Smith, getting hired by the Houston Texans, which is awesome to see. You see African-American head coach getting hired, getting that third opportunity in the NFL after falling short of the Super Bowl with the Bears, and rumors out there that, he might have been told, hey, we're going to tank the season with the Buccaneers. So good to see him getting another shot out there with the Texans. I wonder if the Texans are more so going to be steering towards Josh McCown after a couple years as an assistant coach. So keep an eye on that situation as well. The Saints going Dennis Allen, their defensive coordinator that they've had for the past few seasons. They're going to promote him up to head coach. That's an interesting decision. They could have went with Eric Bieniemy, who I thought would have been a nice kind of lateral, if not probably more lateral or small downgrade from Sean Payton as far as offensive minds are concerned. But I thought that would have been a nice move for the Saints, and then keep Dennis Allen on staff as defensive coordinator. But Saints organization thought Dennis Allen was ready for that second opportunity. Obviously, he went 8-28 with the Raiders back in, I think it was 2015 that he was the head coach for a couple seasons. He gets his second opportunity too, and we'll see how that goes for them. The Raiders getting Josh McDaniels now from the Patriots. I'm a Colts fan, so a little still on the edge about Josh McDaniels, accepting that job with the Colts and then literally turning the plane around, going back to New England and saying, nah, never mind. So Josh McDaniels of the Raiders with his New England guy, I forget it, the GM that he's bringing with him over from New England. But essentially he's been, Bill Belichick's right-hand man in New England. So the Raiders doing some more big-name hirings. What else are you going to expect from the Raiders? Next team, obviously, is going to be the Saints. Who else was it? Oh, the Bears. Of course, the Bears. Talk about Lovie Smith on the Texans. Let's talk about the Bears. I thought I'd already talked about them. The Bears, getting Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator out of Indianapolis. Been a great defensive coordinator for the Colts for a few years now. Coming over, actually was initially scheduled to be the defensive coordinator there with Josh McDaniels being the head coach. But after Josh McDaniels turned the plane around, Frank Reich ended up keeping him on the staff. Whether that was his decision or the GM's decision, Chris Ballard, is not my expertise field, right? So Eberflus, players loved him on defense, so I think the Bears will be getting a solid coach. And obviously hiring an African-American general manager, so that's great too, with Ryan Poles from Kansas City. Anyway, so AFC West-wise, I think the Broncos, they got Nathaniel Hackett, former offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers as guy, right? We're going to see if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay this year and ends up being a Denver Bronco, similar to how Peyton Manning left the Colts and became a Denver Bronco, just on a mutual agreement of parting ways with the Colts. Let's see if another mutual agree to part ways happens between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Another AFC South team, obviously with a huge kind of controversy behind them, was with Jacksonville, the Jaguars, with Shad Khan keeping Trent Baalke in as a general manager. Rumors that Byron Leftwich was wanting to be the head coach, but did not want to work with Trent Baalke. Actually wanted to bring over former Cardinal safety and current Cardinals, I believe it's front office. He's a front office job right now, head of the scouting department, I believe. Adrian Wilson, former safety from the Cardinals, trying to bring him over there to be his GM in Jacksonville, which I thought would have been a really great move for Jacksonville. Have a nice young core of GM, coach, and actual roster. Could have been a very good move for Jacksonville. But, they still end up with Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning coach who has experience in developing quarterbacks. So Trevor Lawrence is in for a pretty good day having an offensive-minded head coach and not Urban Meyer. So that's Jacksonville. I believe I think I hit every new coaching hire as well. I might have missed one. The Giants, of course, the Giants, right? Brian Daboll, one of the first ones, right, to be hired. A lot of people are accrediting him to developing Josh Allen, but I don't quite see that. I mean, I understand the numbers are what they are as far as when he got there, and then the yardage per game, touchdowns, and points per game going up. That's great. I'm more so, and I'm sure Josh Allen's not going to dispute those numbers either. I'm not saying Daboll has nothing to do with his improvement, but I mean, Josh Allen's a special type of talent. And if Brian Daboll had Baker Mayfield, I'm not so sure there would have been the same results, is all I'm saying. So that's everyone that I can think of off the top of my head. If you guys could please keep supporting this channel and do everything you can to subscribe, like, leave me some feedback in the comments. Join that Facebook group that I was talking about. I will definitely keep doing this, and much love to all of you guys out there. And yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me talk. So I'll see you next episode.